What up, my family? Hit that like, hit that subscribe. This is A2D Wednesday nights. We got everything in store for you. NFL Week 13 predictions, locks, and guess what time it is? Eagles, Niners, predictions, previews, and everything else. Stay with us. Let's go. What's up, my family? Listen, first-time listener, or you've been here the whole damn time. Hit that like, hit that subscribe, giddy up. Let's go. No notes.
That's my baby. That's my baby.
We're going at it at 110%.
I just want 5 minutes of happiness, please. Just give me 5 minutes.
And they scored! They did it!
Slap.
What the hell was that?
Oh, yeah!
What the f*** are you talking about? Get your sold out. This is A2D Wednesday nights, only on A2D Radio. And every Wednesday, we are brought to you by good friends over at Royal Billiard, at a premier game room store of the Delaware Valley. They're stocked with the very best in pool tables, accessories, shuffleboards, card tables, dart supplies, bars, bar stools. Turn any ordinary room into an extraordinary gaming experience. Oh, did we mention they have hot tubs too? Located 515 Bethlehem Pike and Colmar, PA, or visit them on the web, royalbilliard.com. As always, Craig Milakovic, Cromer, Frank Vetsby, Ryan Brodo. I'm Tom Arnone. I gave Noah Eaton a new computer. You know, I'm like freaking giving out to the needy, and he's nowhere to be found. So, you know what I mean? So we try here. We do our best. Sixers tried to do their best tonight. Roll job in New Orleans with no Joel Embiid. We were going to open our show with that, but we'll save that topic of conversation for another Wednesday. Tonight wasn't the night. So we had to make a little switcheroo, and it takes us right into what we're going to talk about. We can talk Sixers at the end of the show. People want to get things off their chest. At the end of the day, I think this is important for these guys to play together, right? Because you got a lot of guys who never play together. So I think the importance of them playing together, take a positive out of the night. After like the first quarter and a half, game's been pretty much even. You know what I mean? Essentially, I think. So we can talk about it if you want to. Lots of the week. We'll get into that. NFL Week 13 preview, predictions. So we go over the whole slate of games, and we pick out our locks. So join us for that. Stay with us for it. But our main topic at hand revolves around the Salt in San Francisco. Not quite like New Orleans, but similar. And it's Niners, Eagles preview, prediction. Ties into our poll question that is brought to you by Carlino's Market. They're located in Ardmore, Westchester, PA. Or you can go visit them on the web, carlinosmarket.com. They're the best. You got to go check it out. And you can order online, too. They got meats, olive oils, gift baskets, everything for the holiday season. Go check out Carlino's Market, Ardmore, or Westchester. Whatever one you're closer to, go dabble. Our poll for tonight is going to be very debatable. The 49ers are the biggest test for the Eagles to date. Do you agree or disagree? Let us know. Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, that's where we're live. Everywhere you get your podcasts, we're there as well. Hit the like, subscribe, follow. Most importantly, like we say every show, your comments are the most important thing. Join in, comment in, let us know how you're feeling about it. I've seen, early on, Pat says most anticipated regular season game. So there should be some fire behind this game because there's been a lot of talking. And it hasn't stopped, and it's amping back up. But we'll get into all that stuff. We'll get into the Deebo and the likes. But to this poll, the 49ers are the biggest test for the Eagles to date. Do you agree or disagree? Absolutely disagree. I think that's comical. You know what I mean? It's almost laughable. The biggest test. Did we miss Arrowhead? Did we miss a Monday night in Arrowhead? And then if you want to double dip me, because I'll double dip asses tonight, then you follow up a Monday night win, a gigantic Monday night win in Arrowhead where nobody wins. Nobody wins that. Okay? Nobody. All right? And you come home to a desperate Bills team, a desperate one, fighting for their playoff lives on a short week, who had an extra 48 hours to prepare for you. Let me riddle everybody that as well, okay? And you come back down 10, going into the fourth, the biggest test. Come on. This team been tested all day. This ain't the biggest test. This is another damn good opponent coming in Lincoln Financial Field. That's all it is. It ain't a bigger test than what they've been tested on. You know what I mean? Like, if you tell me this is a bigger test than Kansas City, that's laughable. Kansas City's the class of the AFC, essentially. They're the class of football over the last 3 to 5 years. And in Arrowhead, they don't goddamn lose. I don't care about guys dropping balls. I don't care about the rest. They got the best quarterback in the world. They got one of the best coaches in the world. You know what they are. And you went in because you're tougher and you took care of business. What makes this game bigger than last year? A bigger test. What makes it a bigger test? Because they're good? Buffalo's good. Their record doesn't say it. Kansas City is good. If not great. We know they lack some things. But so does San Francisco. Everybody lacks some things. Right? But you know what we don't lack? We've been tested and we've been resilient through it. So I would love to hear everybody else's answers in the chat. Are they the biggest test to date? I disagree. That's Arrowhead, Kansas City, Monday Night Football. Are you kidding me? That ain't at home. It's at home. This game's a goddamn home. It ain't a bigger test than what we just faced in Arrowhead. It's another test. That's what it is. You know, if you want to rank it, 1 and be my guess. But to me, it's 2 or 3. You know, I'll give the benefit of the doubt of being 2, right? But you know, Buffalo's in that test. So's Dallas coming here. I mean, are we okay? You know what I mean? Are we okay? They're just as good as all those teams. They're not better than some of these teams. They're really good. Really good. And we're gonna find out how good they are coming in on Sunday. But I disagree. And I'm adamant, obviously, about this disagreement, which is fun. Adamant, I can't wait to argue. So go ahead.
It's really tough because I'm seeing in the chat a lot of people saying it's the most important game to date. And it is, right? Obviously, for playoff implications, you look at okay, if the Eagles drop this game, you know, then they could all of a sudden be in danger of, you know, dropping the 1 seed, obviously, and then they go on a slide, and, you know, we can get into the division rankings and all that stuff, right? So it's obviously the most important. But the whole fact of us going to Arrowhead and facing the defending champs, team that we never beat, right? That just sticks with me. And sure, right? Like, we could be prisoner, not at the moment, but kind of looking back on things like, yeah, that was the biggest test. And we look at it through the lens of we came out of there with a victory. So we look at it even, you know, more positively. But and I get the argument, like all the shortcomings with that Chiefs team, right? Like, their wide receivers couldn't wait to drop a football at all. Including
real quick, you know what San Francisco doesn't have? Patrick Mahomes. So, Angry Bear, I appreciate the comment. I love it, but that's wrong because they have a bigger weapon than anybody on San Francisco, and that's the quarterback position. So, that's a shot at Purdy, but he's not Patrick Mahomes.
I'm going to disagree to the poll. Just because, again, if we're judging this based off of how we looked at the Chiefs game before we went into it, how we looked at the Bills game before we went into it, I'm going to look at the 49ers game exactly how we are right now before we go into it, not looking back. I mean, you can look at the local perspective. You can look at the national perspective. Some people were saying it was impossible. Oh, defending champs. Andy Reid off of a bye. Everyone wanted to talk about that, even though excluding the fact that we were also coming off of a bye. The difference between us going to Arrowhead against the defending champs and then a really good team, maybe the second best team in the NFL, coming to the Link and facing us, that's the difference maker to me. So I know there's going to be a lot of disagreement, so I'll just keep it real simple. That is the determining factor of why I disagree with the poll. Most important, absolutely. Biggest test, it's really, really close, but I lean with the defending champs.
Yeah, exactly. If we're talking most important, then sure, right? Like, of course, you know, it's it's the next game up, and it's against the arguably the second or third best team in the NFC, right? So, however you want to slice it, Dallas and them, right? So, yeah, important, yeah. Test, like he said, you know, he's tired of the test. I couldn't agree with you more. We're the standard. We're the best team in the NFL. He says, I have confidence we will win every game when we step on the field. Keith, that's where I'm at. So I said Sunday. They're down 10. I got no doubts. Right? I'm not sitting here panicking like I did in the years past. So, yeah, go ahead. Who's up next?
Okay, Chrome.
Yeah, I mean, I you guys make some really strong points, but
we know
I'm gonna agree to the poll. I'm gonna agree to the poll for a number of reasons. you can't ignore the fact, and I know that you said, oh, Patrick Mahomes is the guy, and he is the guy. But honestly, probably the second most impactful player in the NFL right now is running for the 49ers right now. And that's CMC, Mr. Automatic Touchdown. He's a weapon that's unmatched in the league in terms of what his skill set is. And he can cause a whole lot of havoc. And honestly, that 49ers team stumbled a little bit over a few weeks, but they weren't healthy. They have Deebo back. They added Chase Young, who's been very productive for them in his first couple of games, strengthening that defense. They have a lot of weapons on that team. And I'm looking at, listen, I think personal tests of having that loss last year in the Super Bowl and resiliency in that fact and going into Arrowhead and getting that win, it's a massive, massive win for them. But I also don't think that's the same team that they faced in the Super Bowl. I think they're a step below what they faced in the Super Bowl. So in terms of finding victories throughout the year and things that are big moments and milestones, that's right up there. But 49ers now, they're healthy. We're healthy because it looks like, other than Dallas being out, it looks like Lane's going to play this week, which is a huge, huge thing for us because I'd be really concerned if he was out. But looking like he's going to play. This is going to be, unless we knock Purdy out again in the first quarter, you can't knock what Brock Purdy's been able to do when that team's been at full strength. He's been the most efficient quarterback in the NFL. And at this point, we're struggling at some points to get home to the quarterback. And I think if we could get home to the quarterback, it's a huge opportunity for the Eagles here to change the game. But we can't ignore the fact that aside from us, this is the deepest team on all sides of the football in the NFL. To me, it's the Eagles and the 49ers and everybody else right now. Maybe you could talk about Baltimore as far as the AFC goes, and Kansas City will always be in the conversation. But they have a guy who's as much of a difference maker as Patrick Mahomes in CMC. Deebo is a guy who's a Swiss Army knife. They have a lot of weapons. George Kittle, one of the best tight ends in the league. I mean, there's a lot to look at with that team that we have to hope our secondary does a whole lot in this game. So this is going to be a big measuring stick. Because to me, these are the two best teams in the league, hands down. So yes, to me right now, in terms of talent-wise on the field, this is the biggest matchup for them. That's going to tell us that they've gone through the Dolphins, they've gone through the Bills, they've gone through the Chiefs, and every other team. What's it, 11 or 12 in a row now with teams over 500? If they get this one, to me, that's where we really establish ourselves as the elite in the NFL right now. I still think we are, but I'm saying this is going to be the biggest matchup.
Yeah, I mean, I hear you. The only thing I disagree with is the Purdy stuff. Not that he hasn't been really good, but there's a big difference when you say all about getting home. There's a big difference in your game plan and how you rush the quarterback when you're playing against the likes of Josh Allen or you're playing against the likes of Patrick Mahomes. I mean, that's 101. So I'm not even gonna. I hear you, but let me see how they do against a guy who ain't moving like them. That's a difference. So I mean, they come here all day with all the goddamn weapons they want. To sit here and act like that when you had the best quarterback in football, it ain't fair to go run around crowning teams that aren't better, that haven't won like he has. That's the facts. That's the facts of the matter. That's where this argument it starts and ends. Like I don't care what's around him. That dude is special, and he's proven it. He didn't have a lot around him last year. He won a goddamn Super Bowl with Juju Smith-Schuster, who stinks out loud. So I don't want to. He's going to win with less. That's the facts. He will. He'll win games with less. He'll be in any AFC title game with less this year. He just will be. That's just the way it works. Not telling you he's going to win it, but we can't poo-poo. We can't poo-poo what's around him and not act like he's not the reason they win. He's the reason they win. They all due respect, the cute Brock Purdy, he ain't him. So Christian McCaffrey's awesome, and Deebo's a Swisser, and Ayuk's probably their best wideout, and Kittle, right? I get it. I absolutely get it. But when you're talking about importance, or you're talking about who's the biggest test this year so far, I don't know. I don't know how. I see agrees and I see disagrees, which makes it fun in the chat. But I can't wrap my head around this being a bigger test. So go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I'll disagree as well. And not only, I mean, we talked about the Chiefs and the Bills, but at the time, the Dolphins coming in were the greatest show on turf, right? At the time, the Cowboys coming in was the greatest thing, was the greatest team that we were going to face, right? So as Keys mentioned, we're the standard, right? So everyone's going to be our toughest test. So there's no ranking it higher than any of the other ones, right? And then absolutely the Chiefs on the road off of a bye, right? I mean, that's got to probably sit at the top. But at the time, each and every week, they're all the toughest tests. So there's no like ranking it higher than ever. And I think part of that too is, I think as Ryan said, the implications of it, because it's a conference game, right? It's a conference game this week and a divisional game next week. So a win or a loss counts almost double in that equation just because of who it is, right? A loss potentially to Buffalo would have sucked, but it wouldn't really have hurt anything over in the NFC, whereas losing to potentially someone in the AFC or in the NFC hurts a little bit more. So I'm going to disagree. At the time, like I said, the time the Dolphins were the greatest things ever, the Cowboys were the greatest things ever, and then obviously we've hammered home the Chiefs and the Bills here recently.
Greg, really quick to your point, because you just made me think of something. When you talk about that week-by-week basis, if for some reason the Eagles drop this game to the Niners this week, well, you know what the biggest test to date will be? Next week against Dallas, where everything's on the line, and you have to go to that.
Yeah, you're in
That's
Dallas.
the biggest test, because that's implications of all implications.
Well, the first one, too.
Division.
Forget the second one, right? The first one. I mean, in the first one, they didn't stop scoring for weeks. I mean, they're blowing teams out.
Yeah. Right.
And they come in here and we win that game. So, I mean, like, the reason this poll, it doesn't bother me, but the reason I'm trying to continue to hammer home on people is that there isn't a bigger test, because this football team has been tested all year. So, like, to say this is a bigger test, being down 10 in the fourth and Buffalo at home against Buffalo's not a test. Go through the lines of being down in Arrowhead and winning that football game isn't the biggest test to date. Where else do we want to go? Dallas has the ball at 5. I mean, they're looking like they're going to win the game. That's not a huge test, even though they back themselves up for them not to score. That's not a big test. Like Miami coming in, great show on turf, not the biggest test to date. Like all those things, we've been tested and we've came through. So I'm not going to put more on this game test-wise and let this game change my mind about this football team. I want that to be clear right now. The people out there, they're going to panic and they're going to yell and scream if it doesn't go our way, right? But they ain't defining this football team. I'll stand by that. What do you guys say, Frank? Noah? Frank, go ahead. And Noah, here's the poll.
I guess I'll go. I mean, I'm going to side with Crum on this one. I'm going to go on the agree side. San Francisco. This is their vengeance game from last year. Not having Brock Purdy in that game really hurt the Niners. But the Niners are just as complete as we are this season. And we actually got to see, a little bit of a resume for the Niners in the East Coast games this year with Brock Purdy. Understand, we saw last year, no East Coast game for Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy so far 2-1. But this real test for the Eagles is whether if they complete all 4 quarters. I really want to see that happen.
Bingo.
The Eagles have those flashes of brilliance. Can they put it all together? Can they put it all together against San Fran? And that's
Frank, you hit the nail on the head.
If they get that done, if they get that done, then we'll be fine for Dallas and Dallas. We'll be fine for Seattle at Lumen. We're all good. So I agree to the poll on this one.
All right, Noah.
All right. Part of what Frank says, I think he hit the nail on the head, is can we play a 4-quarter football game? Let's face it. Every freaking game this year, we haven't played a complete game yet past each test. Now, granted, not each test with flying colors, and there was plenty of nail biting along the way and gnashing of teeth. All right? And at times it was downright ugly. I mean, there were some games where we looked lifeless for 2.5 quarters of the game. But we found a way to win the ball game. we found a way to get it done in Kansas City. We found a way to get it done against Buffalo at the Link. And we didn't even play our best game. I mean, let's face it. I haven't seen a game yet this year that we haven't turned the football over. I haven't seen a game yet this year where we come out offensively and start strong and finish strong. I mean, it seems like, I guess it's in some ways it's today's NFL where even the top echelon teams have flaws to it. All right. I mean, look at Kansas City and all their drops. I mean, look at Buffalo and, they were supposed to be world beaters, and look at their 6-6 record. All right. Josh Allen at times looking like a turnover machine. And then other times he'll look like an all-pro. And then you look at our football team. I mean, right now, we've shown plenty of warts, plenty of faults, but we showed a lot of resiliency throughout the season too. I mean, we showed that we can get knocked down, get back up, and keep it rolling. And when the clock hits 0, we find ourselves to be on top. I mean, that says a lot about this team in and of itself. And the way I look at it, yeah, obviously the Niners are a damn good football team. I mean, do I think they're our biggest test? No. I mean, I would say Kansas City's a little better than them. And I would say the Dallas Cowboys are a little better than the Niners right now, at least offensively. I mean, granted, yes, the Niners are loaded with talent, and it's going to be obviously a tough football game on Sunday. Is it going to be our biggest test? I'm going to say no. I think that, I hate to say it, but I think it's going to be the week after when we go to Arlington with the rematch with the Cowboys.
Yeah, probably, because, we don't play well there when Dak plays there, when Dak's playing. And we've already won one. But to me, that game has less importance than this one, if you want to talk about the important side of games, right? If you want to talk about the important side.
To be honest, I think they're both critical.
They're critical, but you already beat Dallas once.
We want home field. I think we need to win.
You
both.
want home field, you win Sunday, babe. You win
Oh,
Sunday.
Yeah, no question.
That's night time.
You need to win both.
You can go lose in Dallas. I'm not telling you I want you to, but you can go lose in Dallas because you got the Giants twice. I mean, you got layup lines. I mean, you get the layup line out. You know what I mean? That's what it should be. So you got your schedule. The schedule
with
gets
JG coming back to town in between.
Yeah, I mean, so the schedule gets a lot. Every game in the NFL is hard, but the schedule gets a lot easier as it goes on. So, I mean, I think I'm not as worried about the Dallas game if you get this game. Now, you don't get this game, then the Dallas game, you want to talk about importance, and then that becomes the most important because that's where we're at. But if you win Sunday, I think the Dallas game isn't as. You still would like to go win because then it's just nail in the coffin.
Yeah, you stay 2 games up, right?
Yeah, when you win that's what I want. Nail in the coffin.
You could honestly, in my opinion, you can honestly make an argument that the biggest test to date wasn't even the Chiefs game. And you mentioned it briefly, Tom, just because of the game after that, really emotional victory, especially on Monday Night Football. But you can make an argument it was the Bills game because of one person, Lane Johnson. We do not win, at least consistently, that is, without him. And that also, that's not like they had, unless my memory is disappointing me here, it's not like they had all week to prep. You know what I'm saying? I'm pretty sure it was the morning of?
Yeah, that was a late one.
Yeah, morning of, he had the sore groin.
So I'm sure it wouldn't even be like Negadelphia, but I'm sure as soon as everyone saw the headline that he wasn't playing, everyone, for the most part, was like, uh-oh. Not uh-oh as in like, oh, we have no chance of winning, but uh-oh, like, this is arguably the most important person outside of the quarterback that we just lost the morning of the game against, like we talked about, like the Bills aren't a great team. They're a frustrating to watch team, but they're a good team. They're a good team that just can't get out of their own way. But when you lose that guy, I mean, the last time we lost that guy, we lost to the Jets. right? That was the last memory we had. So
Yeah.
it's like, oh my God, we couldn't beat the Jets. How are we gonna be able to beat this team, right? And we did that. And we did that while they had a 10-point head start, again, in a monsoon, again, back-to-back weeks. So, Chrome, you mentioned it, when you answered the poll, that the fact that you have Lane Johnson, at least projected-wise, is gigantic. Because if you, for some reason, don't have him, it only accentuates all of the fears that you had going into the Bills game. But now it's against a team that, whether we like the quarterback or not, or the coach or the defense, it's really tough to argue that the Bills are better than the 49ers on top of all the implications of the NFC.
Yeah, the only thing that makes them maybe arguably like tougher in a way is the quarterback. Is what he's able to do with his legs, and you could have everything schemed great and they still beat you. Even though, they still beat you on that play. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So that's the only thing that I'll give them advantage on. Like, that's what most teams are going to get an advantage on when it comes to the Niners. I mean, I'm not telling you Brock Purdy hasn't had a really good year, right? Because he has. But, I mean, he hasn't seen a front like this. I mean, Christian McCaffrey's great, but so's this front. I mean, we'll see how the back end of that does, right? But, I mean, if this front is healthy and you have guys healthy on Sunday, I'm not telling you I'm not like a little bit worried about Christian McCaffrey, but I trust his defense.
Hey, I mean, we have to remember too, and it's a different position, but in the most feared weapon on offense outside of the quarterback category, we faced another one that's, if he's not 2, he's definitely 1. I would argue he's 1, but it's semantics. If you're in the top 2, you're pretty good. And when we faced his team, Tyreek Hill, Miami Dolphins, you could argue that was our best game of the season.
Yeah. I'm not worried about it. When you want to talk about weapons, this is what we just did. And I get it because we're talking about the Niners, and I got a question for you guys after this. But you want to talk about weapons. This is what I'm laughing about as an Eagles fan. All right? Because I am tired of walking the fuck around about what everybody else has. Like, it's a newsflash time to people. We forget what we got. I mean, you talk about feared. We talk about feared. You know what the hell's on our outside? I mean, that's a specimen of a man. That's a grown folk who's had like 3 catches in the last 2 weeks, and we still won. All right? So at the end of the day, because the guy over on the other side of him, like I've been saying since draft night, he'll put a gold jacket on one day. He will. He will, because he's still a puppy. He will. So we fear. Okay, we might not have that. We might not have Dallas Goedert. Okay, that's not ideal, right? But we have the 2 guys, the 2 puppies on the outside, and we have a quarterback who can do so many things with his legs as well that could break down a defense. And he's a goddamn winner, right? Doesn't always look great, but he's a goddamn winner. And then we got a weapon in the backfield too. So it's not like we're coming in and we're like weaponless. And the biggest key of all of it, we have a better offensive line than they do. That's a fact. So you want to talk about weapons. Our weapons are offensive line too. So, I mean, I'm not telling you their offensive line's trash. I'm saying ours is better. That's all I'm saying.
I'll just say this one thing, though, Tom, and I don't disagree, especially on paper thing. With the offensive line, they better start playing like it, right? We've been thrown around for years. Best offensive line in football, top 3. There's been times all this season. I'm taking out like the without Lane Johnson thing because I thought after the first series, Driscoll was fine. If they're going to continue to have that title, top 3 offensive line, best offensive line in football, they better start playing like it because they've gotten away with it against way lesser defenses that they're going to see this week.
Yeah, I just think when you take Juergens out of it, like he's missed some time. Sure. When you take Lane out for the 2 games he's missed, and you get a little shuffle on that right side, I think it messes them up a little bit, and rightfully so. But I think when they're healthy, they are. Right, and especially in the run game. I think what hurts them sometimes is Jalen. Right, and a lot of guys that like to move around and maybe hold on to the ball a little too long can hurt a little bit. But they definitely, without Juergens for weeks on end, they were getting blown up the middle on that right side. I mean, you could see it. I mean, it was collapsing. So, I think that even with Lane over there, I think that right guard spot got exposed. especially in the passing game. And then, it goes from there. But I don't disagree with you. There's definitely room for improvement with this entire team. The only thing I disagree with Frank and Noah about is, like, I don't give a shit about 4 quarters. You know what I mean? I care about wins. Like, what we call complete. I call a complete game coming out with a W. Am I trying to get down 20? No. I got to stay in striking distance. But, like, I don't care when you want to turn it on. If you got the ability to turn that shit on, I'm here for it. So, I not ideal, but let's not act like all year they haven't played well at times in the first half. Or, you know what I mean? Because they have. It just hasn't been a full team complete game, more so than it hasn't been a complete game. So I don't want to hear that stuff. They're 10-1. They play 10 complete games.
Yeah.
Hey, believe me, I'm not apologizing for 10-1, and I'm not going to we're not giving the 10 wins back. All right, but I would like to see more consistency going
this ain't
forward,
a goddamn beauty contest. This is not PowerPoints. Hold the hell on. This is not PowerPoints. This ain't a damn beauty contest. This ain't college football, right? Trying to get in the top 4. So miss me with the bullshit. They're 10 wins. Stop worrying about what didn't go right and start talking about what has. That's what I'm getting annoyed with the damn dial, with some of you guys. Talk about what's going right? In the chat, etc. We want to still talk about negatives like this is 1998. Can we stop it? I mean, we are the class of the NFC over the last 2 years, right? So can we stop with what's going wrong and talk about what's going right? Please, a little bit. It's okay to have some concerns and some reservations on some things. But damn it, we're talking about
Tommy. I'm enjoying the ride, but I'm not going to tell you that I'm not.
You're walking around like we're 6-5. You walk around like we're 6-5. Complete games. Complete game. What's your concern level for this week? 1 out of 10. 10 being you're that. You know what I mean? You're that concerned. Come on, KV. I don't even know how to say it. KVOG. I don't know. I was just ran. But a win's a win, and that's freaking complete. That's complete. There's things in between you like to clean up, but we can't talk about not. They ain't play a complete game. They come back from 10 and beat Buffalo. They come back and beat Kansas City. Shit, we're gonna do that. We're gonna do that during the parade. We're gonna be like, man, I didn't like that. I had to come back from 10. Last year, we fucking hot as a pistol. We were up 10. We're up 10 at goddamn halftime. We blow a lead. So what do you want? What do you want? I'd rather you turn it on in the second half and come out like guns blazing and make big time adjustments than come out like, look at us early on, and then they adjust to you. I'd rather be the cats adjusted.
We did that all last year, and that people were complaining. It was, we would have monster first halves. Then it would be like, oh, well, we relaxed too much in the second half. It's like, no, we're up by 15. We're up by 20. We're up by 30. We're up by 45.
Yeah, we can relax.
And for all the stat junkies out there, again, if my memory serves me correctly, looking the other day, we're actually averaging more points than we were last year. Now, granted,
about like 1 or something, right? Like 1.
I think it's about like 0.2 or something. It's close, but it's like we're relatively the same team. If you look at the stat sheet, it's just flipped.
I do think we have to be fair here, saying that San Francisco and Brock Purdy haven't faced any defensive fronts like ours. I mean, they went against Pittsburgh. They went against Cleveland, who's got a stacked defensive front. I mean, they've gone through some teams. Minnesota's got a good defensive front. Dallas and Michael Parsons. They faced all these teams too, so they've been tested. To say they haven't been tested by a defensive front like ours is not accurate. They've had some matchups, and they have more to come because they still got to go against. Like, they still have Baltimore this season, so they're going to have more tests themselves. But we can't sit here and say they haven't been tested. They have.
Yeah, and they lost against Cleveland.
Well, they won the other two though. They blew out Dallas.
Well, they lost against Minnesota. So the games they were on the road, they lost.
They did put up 30 points against Pittsburgh. Granted, that was back on week 1, though.
That's also when they were missing, I think, I know Deebo was out, but they were missing like 2 or 3 other starters in those games too.
Okay.
And they lost close games.
Yeah, I'm talking about on the road, though. It's on the road. It's different than playing at home.
Right, but
at home.
I'm saying they fared well. No, I know.
And yes, while those
I'm not telling you they haven't fared well. Yeah, I'm just telling you they put up 17 points in Minnesota. So,
and while those defenses are good, their offenses aren't anywhere near what ours is. right? So
other than Dallas.
Dallas, yeah. But
Yeah.
Cleveland's offense is trash. Pittsburgh's offense is trash, right? So yeah, while they have a good defense, they only had to really play one side of the ball.
Right, but I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the statement earlier that they
that's
haven't
fair.
faced
Oh,
any
I got you.
defensive fronts. I'm just talking about as far as the offense facing the defensive side of the ball.
Yeah, and my point was they haven't faced defensive front like us for a lot of reasons. Okay, I'm not telling you Cleveland isn't elite. Cleveland's elite on all levels. Let me make that clear. Let's understand how teams are constructed here. I mean, Cleveland's got elite corners, right? They got an elite secondary, and they got Miles Garrett, right? So they don't have a lead across the board up front. Okay, let's be clear. The Dallas Cowboys don't have a lead across the board up front. Okay, we want to continue this. We want to continue on. Do they have what we have through the board? Through the board here. This ain't just they got a guy, they got TJ Watt, right? We're talking about across the board. Across the board. Now, Cleveland's deeper than us defensively. They're better than us defensively because they got a full defense. Because they're constructed really well back there, right? So I'll say Cleveland's got a better defense than us, Chrome, you know what I mean? But I'm not going to tell you their front's better than us. I don't think that, I don't think it's fair to our front because I don't think those teams are as deep as us up there. I don't think they have as many guys moving in. I mean, you could say a team we're playing's got a deeper front. You could say San Fran's got the deeper front, right? Or the better front if people want to go there. I can't really argue that. You know what I mean? Because I think it's close, but Chase Young sort of gives you the little push over for them for sure. Yeah. So to be fair there, but I mean, I'm just looking through who they played. I mean, I don't know. They're good. I mean, I'm not taking shots at them. I just don't. I don't know if they've seen something like this in an environment like this, and the last time they saw it, it didn't age well for them. That's all. It didn't age well. I'm not telling you Brock Purdy's going to get hurt again. I just saying the last time we got after them early and often. So we'll see. We'll see.
Let me
to your question. No, it's not. Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead, Greg. Good. You've been waiting again.
No, I was going to say to your question, my concern level is a 4.
Okay.
And it kind of goes back to the argument about the complete game, right? Like, because over the last, better than anybody because we're in group chat, right? Like over the last few weeks, I've harped on, I've almost quit watching at halftime and stuff like that. But they keep winning, right? So you almost don't worry. Like it's starting to turn in my head that it doesn't matter what it looks like. And when you go back and look at the Kansas City game specifically, while we didn't look good at all, we made drives when we needed to, right? And I know we said that at the post game too, right? You go 3 and out to start the game. They go 3 and out, then they score a touchdown. We answer with a touchdown, right? So when we need to go on drives and we need to sustain or get points, our offense behind Jalen Hurts just finds a way to make that drive happen, right? So yes, why possibly would we like to look a little prettier at times? Sure, but at the end of the day, being the higher scorer at the end of the game and making those important drives when we need them, which is what this team has done all year long, is all that matters.
Yeah, we'll get into some of that later. So Greg's a 4. Chrome will go across the board here. What are you? I mean, you sound like a 10.
No, I don't sound like a 10. Get out of
like
here.
A 10.
I'd say maybe a 6. I'm a little over 50% here, so I'd say a 6. I mean, I think I worry about the secondary. It's been hit and miss, and I mean, I hope that we continue to see a little bit of a trend of some turnovers here. Bradbury had a pretty decent game the other day. Looked like he was figuring out, some of the routes and keeping his eyes on the quarterback and making some plays. And let's hope that's a trend. Byard's been in and out in terms of, it looks like he's picking up on things, but then you're seeing him out of place on certain opportunities. So I worry about the secondary. I don't worry about the defensive front. I don't worry about, the linebacker position. It's the secondary that concerns me. And if they get torched, whether it's by Ayuk or Kittle or whoever this week, or, CMC just starts. We missed a lot of tackles too in that game against Kansas City and against Buffalo. We start missing tackles on CMC, he's going to rip off a whole lot of runs. So that concerns me a little bit. But, overall, I would say about a 6.
6. Noah?
I'll as far as concern level, I'll go 5. I mean, I think we win the football game, and look, like I said, I'm thankful we're 10-1 overall. I love the resiliency of this team, but look, the bottom line is once playoff time rolls around, I mean, we need to be hitting on all cylinders. I want to see, I get it. I don't need to see 30-point wins, all right, to be assured, if you will. But I would like to see better starts, and I love the finish, and I love the way we make our adjustments, the way this coaching staff makes adjustments, the way Jalen's making adjustments. I love all that.
So
And I love the resiliency. I ain't giving 10 wins back. All right.
Sounds like you are.
Huh?
Sounds like you are. I mean, I don't know how to be more clear to everybody. I mean, it sounds like you are. What do we? You would have hated some of the dynasties then that teams have had in this league, right? Where they found ways to win in the last 2 minutes. I mean, every goddamn box this football team could check off for people still ain't enough. I mean, how do you want it? How do you think the teams you played over this stretch that you're beating up on, that you're going to look beautiful all the time? Are we out of our minds?
Oh, no, of course not. I know that.
Because they're damn good teams. It's last year.
It's just I also know that some of those same teams that we may see in the postseason, guess what? They're probably not blowing 10-point leads. I mean, if we see Dallas, all right, in the NFC Championship game, and we're down 2 scores, we might be in deep shit. I mean,
it ain't the extreme. Hold on. It's not an extreme. Like, it feels extreme because the way you're going about winning games. But the score late and win games in the last 5 minutes of football games, that ain't crazy. That's winning football. Like, the teams we're playing, it's not fair to think that we're going to look beautiful for 4 quarters. I mean, just like the teams we're playing don't. Because you got 2 good football teams. Like, what do we like? Come on, what is complete? Complete finding ways to win. Like, again, this isn't. You don't get cupcakes like you do in college football. Dallas that cupcakes. Would you rather win like them and then lose against good teams? Because that's what they've done. Would you rather blow out the losers and then can't win big ones, or would you rather just be in close games and find ways to win? It's not an extreme.
Tom, does it concern you at all though that when they've looked bad, they've looked dead, right? Like, it's not sluggish. It's not.
Yeah, I mean, that's where
losing the turnover battle. It's not the minutes per possession. It's literally they've looked dead.
It would concern me if they aren't winning. Like, I don't know how it's so weird to explain. Like, if they weren't winning, then it'd be concerns through all the things that we're talking about that have happened negative to them or haven't been good enough. They're 10-1. To me, it's not the Steelers run from years past. Like, this is a damn good football team. They're just not looking the part all the time, but they look the part when it matters most. And that's more than I could ever ask from a football team. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's a weird feeling that I have. Like, my concern level is a 0 this week. It's a goddamn 0. How can I be concerned? Like, how? Like, it's crazy to say as an Eagles fan for as long as I've been. And right, you get it because you get like me before games. You guys all do, right? Like, it's like great. Me and Greg were talking. It was like you're down 10 in the 4th, and you're just like, they're gonna win. And like Leonard's like, they look like shit. And I'm like, they're gonna win. It's what he does. It's what he does. I mean, that dude's face doesn't change. How the fuck can I sit here concerned? I mean, we got a field goal kick one from 59, and that dude's got stone face. That dude's stone face the whole game. Like, you don't know if he's down 40 or up 40. You have no idea. But your guys around him take that persona on. They do. They've done it for the greats in the history of football. For the history of football, you take on what your guy does. You go by his demeanor. It's goddamn amazing. They get punched in the face 100 times, and this team don't even flinch at it. I've never seen anything like it. So to sit here and be a 6 or higher That's crazy to me. I've been a 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 my whole life with this team. This is the first time I can sit back and say, "Go ahead, I'm here for it. I'll see you in the fourth." I mean, who's got that pedigree around the National Football League? Who can say that they've done what this team's done all year? Losing a turnover battle, which always ends up in else. A team running 30 more plays than you Sunday. 30 more plays. You win. Who's done that?
I'll tell you the team it reminds me the most of.
Yeah.
And it was the Chiefs team from about 2.5, 3 years ago when they had Tyreek. And they would go through the first quarter and a half. And it was like a running joke. It was like, okay, here's the scripted plays that suck. Let's just get to Mahomes improving. They would be like the playoff game. I think they were down to the Texans or something stupid in the first round, a few years ago. And it's in Arrowhead. Might not have been in Texas. Might have been another team. I'm sure somebody will say. It might have been the Titans or the Ravens or whatever. And they're down like 17 points. And it's like, oh, they're dead. And then every week, Mahomes just goes on a run and he could be down 10 with 4 minutes to go. And he'll end up winning by 6. It reminds me a lot of that in a way.
Yep.
It's
I agree
we
with
don't
that.
do it with explosiveness. We just do it, just grinding it out and wait. Basically, like every one of our opponents have made that one mistake. Josh Allen, it was right on cue. Right when we score the touchdown, Josh Allen interception. Right? You look at the Chiefs one, big drop. And then you look at obviously the turnover by Kelsey. You can go week and week and week. And unlike other teams, the Chiefs can play the Steelers or the Bills can play the Bengals, and they can make a bunch of flaws, and they can still find a way to win. And I think our greatest strength for us is that if our opponent make that one fatal flaw, they're dead. They're dead. If they make that one flaw in the second half, you just.
But you know what other teams were like that, Rye? Like again, I don't want to get ahead of ourselves, right? But this is how I view this organization over the next 3 years. Okay, this is how I view it because of some of the youth they have and Jalen. And real quick before I even get into the view, I want to mention this comment because I think where'd it go? The retro bro, Brandon Graham. You all don't know Jalen like we do. I mean, it does say everything. Are you kidding me? He said on a goddamn, they're kicking a field goal to take the lead. I mean, they're kicking a fucking field goal to take the lead. Are you kidding me? And this guy said, you don't know Jalen like we do. And he's rushing the quarter, rushing the kicker. What are we talking about here? Are you kidding me? And we got concerns.
Coin flip.
Yeah, coin flip. Yeah, that don't matter. Like, are you kidding me? Because guess what? When you
don't matter.
Yo, guys, like we've all played a sport in our life. When you got guys around you that believe that much that you're going to win. When I talk about hitters today, I talk about more than ever, we're open here in our minds now. We understand as coaches, as athletes, that our brain is more powerful than we give it credit for. For all of us in life, it is way more powerful than you give it credit for. So if we can visualize, if we're visualizing the night before, Jim Tomei talks about this, visualizing the night before and then hitting 2 homers. Like you got to visualize being great. But when you actually believe your visualization, you get what we're watching right now. And what we're watching right now is the kind of shit that happened in New England. It's the kind of shit that happened in Dallas and their runs. It's the kind of shit that Ryan just alluded to with Kansas City and their run, right? And when you talk about Montana and the boys and their runs, when you talk about these dynasties of teams, this is how they won. Some weeks they would look like the greatest show on turf, and other weeks they're going to grind your ass out because they ain't playing their best ball, but they know how to goddamn win. So, Rye, and Frank, give us your concerns before we get too far. I'm excited. I'm excited to be the big bad fucking wolf, unlike Chrome, who's sitting there at a 6.
I'll go 5.5.
Oh, God damn it.
Oh,
I'll go 5.5.
You two, you were on the same side all night.
No,
and how we do this?
No, you said 6 and above, so I'm just done.
All right.
I'm in the green.
I mean, at least you're not Noah. Noah's like the definition of Jonathan Gannon. I'll give it a 5. I'll play missionary tonight.
Yeah, I mean, the 2 biggest concerns outside of what was already said.
Thanks.
I think, for numerous reasons, I think they're going to do the quick game on offense, right? Because the right side of their offensive line is just not good, right? It's not good at all. So to kind of neutralize that, I'm sure they'll quick game it also because they have McCaffrey, Deebo, even though Deebo does more talking than catching footballs, but whatever. So that will kind of neutralize our defensive front a little bit. And also, I don't want to say I'm like overly concerned, even though the 49ers have a top 3, rushing attack on defense. But I'm really interested to see how we run on that, right? Because a lot of the games where we were down, what brought us back? It was the run. It was DeAndre Swift. Yeah, hell, it was even Boston Scott for a little bit a couple weeks ago. If we cannot run on them, and listen, their secondary can be had, right? I'm very interested to see about that, because if we can run on them and we get to Purdy early, I would be very surprised if we don't come out with a victory. And I know there's a ton of other things that can happen with that, but I think those are the two keys, right? I think it's going to be a very close battle, but I'll go 5.5.
All right, Frank.
With my concern level, it's a 2.
Ooh.
Wow.
Like it.
You know what, guys? Dom, I hear you, right? I hear you. This guy, he's on an 8. He's on an 8. Could you imagine being on an 8, Dom? I got to talk you off, babe. I got to talk you off your 8 edge. I hear you. Listen, to sit here and say there's not some warts you see week to week. Me and Greg and Chrome, we've had this conversation ad nauseum, right? It's different. It's a different group each week that steps up or steps down, right? It's amazing because you're not getting all things lining up continuously for this football team. But that's even more of a reason not to be in an 8. It's even more of a reason. With all this shit that they had to say. Are you kidding me? Listen, man. The Niners, we're going to get into scores and predictions after our break and players of the game, but shit, they had a lot to say. And when you're sitting there calling other NFL players trash and you're not walking back on it the week of, and you're a third wide receiver and you're a gadget, you better watch your mouth. You better watch your damn mouth. And I think you're a hell of a player. You better watch your mouth. You ain't A.J. Brown. You better simmer down. You ain't even DeVonta Smith. You can't even always jockstrap. Well, you can do end wide receiver end arounds. That's cute. Cool story, bro. You ain't going over the top of anybody. You know what I mean? That ain't your game. You're a slant. You want to talk about Uncle Slant? I'll start calling him Uncle Slants. Uncle Slants, Uncle End Around. That's because that's what you got. You ain't, you know what I mean? You got Brandon Ayuk's better than you. Watch your mouth. Watch your damn mouth. Sitting here calling people trash. He has played like trash, but I can say that. You know what I mean? I can say that. Right? So
this is where I go back to our conversation a couple of weeks ago, Tom. Remember we talked about power rankings and the Eagles would sit at 2 and they would shuffle teams in and out above them. But to me, what made the Eagles elite, which is why they were totally disrespected again. Yeah, there was no such thing as a complete game. We haven't seen it this year. That being said, though, and we touched on it earlier, it was always making the biggest plays at the biggest moments, whether that was on the defensive side of the football or if it was Jalen Hurts coming out and doing what he's done the last few weeks and earlier in the season, where he's making drives and making passes and making plays at the most pivotal points, right?
Yep.
So when I look now, and that's why I can't go above a 6. So in a normal situation, if I hadn't seen what I've literally seen week in and week out this year of just find a way, I would probably be up a little bit higher at an 8. The only reason I'm as high as I am is, again, listen, we have our weapons. There's no questioning that, but our weapons don't play their weapons in that aspect, right? So on this side, I have to worry about the secondary being able to stop their passing game and Christian McCaffrey. And honestly, McCaffrey is what gives me more of a concern because he can be so dynamic. So again, and that's if Lane doesn't play, that could be a concern. I think he's going to play though.
Yeah, when Kyle Shanahan's coming to town, I'm never concerned.
Right, but I'm saying that's why. I couldn't even imagine going above a 6, and I'm a person who's probably a little bit more of. Now, this is going to be a really tough matchup. I'm going to be a little more concerned that we may not be able to bounce back if we fall back 13, 14 points in this game.
I'm not telling you that's ideal.
No,
I'm
I
not
mean, well,
sitting
it
here
has,
telling you.
honestly, at
Yeah.
this point, it's kind of been ideal over the last couple of weeks. But
yeah.
Yeah.
Like, just to be clear,
Well,
I'm not
that's what
trying
I
to get
mean.
down
Well, we can't.
14 versus his defense.
but you can't deny what we've seen, right? We talked about Jalen Hurts. What's going to be the progression this year from last year? And he showed this last year, but there were times where, we still didn't quite get over the hump. This year, it is literally every single time. He has proven to right now be, maybe outside of Patrick Mahomes, who obviously can drive a team down the field in 12 seconds and win a game, to be the most dangerous quarterback in the final 2 minutes or the final quarter of a football game in this league.
Oh, I'm
And
gonna
that
say
is
something.
special.
I'm gonna say something. And Mahomes is my guy, right? Like, in terms of like just being a football fan, like that dude's a backyard quarterback. You know what I mean? Like, but I'm gonna sit here and say this. You're gonna ask me right now who the best quarterback in the National Football League is? It's Jalen Hurts. Like, there is something to be said. There's something to be said about money time. I mean, there is some, like, this is how we judge. This ain't Jimmy Garoppolo who just wins games because of what's around him. Like, this isn't a game manager. He looks like he can't play in the Big 12 in the first half sometimes. I mean, sometimes he looks like, dude, can this dude play? And my only concern sometimes is like, where'd he go? You know what I mean? He stinks all of a sudden, and then back. Like, why? Where did he come from? Like, he put a cape on, came out of the goddamn phone booth. Like, what? Like,
what's amazing too is he's been doing a lot of this with
banged up,
dealing with a nagging knee.
Banged up, man. This dude is a damn winner. So, whatever. We got to get into score predictions and all.
You're not the only one though, Tom. If you look at a lot of quarterback rankings where they do the week over week quarterback rankings, power rankings, Jalen's at the top of almost every list right now.
As he should be.
And rightfully so. Rightfully so. Right.
The only people, Chrome, that are listening him down are people who don't watch the game and they're looking at a stat sheet. Right. Let's factor two things in here. We had terrible weather the last 2 weeks. Right. But when I thought he had baby hands early on, like, can he throw in the rain? You know what I mean? Like, you're almost envious of Josh Allen's body. You're almost like, can we borrow that? You know, can we borrow that? You look like a freaking specimen. Is it raining? I didn't even know it was raining when he was throwing the football. But guess what? It was pouring in the fourth, and it didn't matter. It didn't matter. So, like, what? Like, I would love him to throw 4 touchdowns and no picks every week and look the part, right? Because what the national media wants to portray is they want guys to look apart. You got to look a certain way. And ideally, sure, right? Ideally, I would love the Josh Allen specimen or the Justin Herbert or the guys who look a certain way. That's fucking cute. That's cute in L.A. That's cute in L.A. I want a winner. And all the things that we said on draft night in terms of what the extra was with him, all the things we loved about him, they came out and said hello to us. Like, what the heck? Like, it's true. We were wrong on a lot of shit. A lot of shit that we maybe weren't wrong on, right, at the end of the day. But the things that we were all right on, everybody on this panel, etc., that truly watch him in college, that dude's a damn winner.
Yep.
Dude's a winner. I'm sorry for the rants tonight. I'm jazzed up to be an Eagles fan. Like, I mean, how can you not? How can you not? We got a lot of losers through this damn city. A lot of damn losers. I mean, he's McNabb on steroids. That's what he is. He's Donovan McNabb on steroids. He's going to have moments where, like, can this dude throw anymore? And then he's going to look elite. But the difference is
he definitely had a couple passes early in the game this week in the Chiefs where he had the McNabb throws at guys' feet. Where I think in somewhere in these chats somebody was like messaging me saying, "Is that McNabb throwing the football right there?" I mean, it was scary. Let me ask you guys a quick question before we jump into prediction. Just because I'm trying to gauge like ramifications of playoffs, right? Obviously, we know.
Well, hold this for the other side because we're going to do predictions, and it's a perfect little intro into the predictions on the implications of a win or a loss in this football game, right? I think it's perfect timing. I've been wrong before though. So, look at a second place trophy. Buy a clue. Just in the troll tonight. In the troll. We want to give a shout out, hats.com. You can use code Philly for 15% off your order over at hats.com. And you can get the Brian Dawkins replica that he wore during his Hall of Fame speech. Remember, not the real one, just same type of hat. I want to confirm that with people who go there and be like, I didn't get Brian's hat. Where's his hair? You know what I mean? Like, I can't help you there. But what I can help you with is I can get you a promo code, and that's Philly, and it gets you 15% off your order at hats.com. And they got a bunch of different styles. They got everything for you. So something for everybody. So go soak it in. And on the other side, we are going to give our predictions or players of the game, a chance for the audience to win $250, a little Venmo or a PayPal if you nail the score. So stay with us. Don't go anywhere. Quick commercial break. This has been this hasn't been. We're still going. It feels like we're done. This is A2D Wednesday nights. Stay right here. This doesn't want to
Royal Billiard and Recreation, proudly celebrating 40 years and our new, bigger showroom.
Twice the size and twice the fun.
More pool tables by Olhausen. More dartboard sets, including custom reclaimed backboards. More bar and kitchen stools that can change a room.
And more bars, including pre-built and custom.
Hot tubs, skee ball, shuffleboard, outdoor,
and fun.
Royal Billiard and Recreation, your ultimate game room store. Now located on Bethlehem Pike in Colmar.
In our family, food is our daily bond. My nonna, affectionately called Mama by many, found solace and joy in the kitchen, sharing her love through delicious creations. She turned her culinary passion into a flourishing business alongside her husband and sons in 1983. Celebrating 40 years is a testament to our exceptional team, friends, family, and beloved customers. With gratitude, we look forward to the future, expanding our brand to share the highest quality Italian food and wine nationwide. Our heartfelt thanks to everyone who has played a part in our story. Grazie mille.
Hats.com is the premier destination for quality and fashion-forward hats and more, with designs for every style and trend. Locally based and run by Philly sports team fanatics, Hats.com can help you elevate your hat John. Utilize the easy-to-use guides at Hats.com to find your perfect size and style, and shipping and returns are free. Hats.com. Find yourself in a hat. Use code Philly for 15% off your order. Hats.com.
Welcome back, everybody. This is A2D Wednesday nights on A2D Radio. All right, it is time for our predictions and our players of the game for this Sunday. Eagles, Niners. We got a big one, baby, and a chance for you guys to win $250 Venmo or PayPal, whatever you use. So drop your score predictions in. Let us know. And your offensive defensive player is essentially your tiebreaker. Not essentially, it is. If we need one, if we need to use one. You know, and you hear me talk and you hear the confidence level, right? And the confidence level is about winning, right? The confidence level isn't about like me thinking we're going to go blow teams out, right? It's still giving respect to another really good team that's walking in the door. So I always try to factor that side into it, but then I got to factor in who the hell we are, right? And I think we're in for an absolute dogfight like we're built for. Right? I think we got another fun one coming this Sunday. And I'm going to go 27-24 Eagles. That's where I'm at. I think we're in another field goal type game. Well, we got to go on a drive for the win.
Now let me ask you guys
the elite 49ers.
Let me ask you guys a question, right? And so we're talking about like when it comes to tiebreakers, right? In terms of the playoffs, right? I know it's obviously head-to-heads first, and then is it divisional record and conference record, correct?
Well,
or is it point differential?
Unless it's just conferences. If you're in a division, then it becomes division. If you're talking about Niners, Eagles, and it goes head-to-head, then the conference.
Because I'm asking if Eagles split with Dallas, right? That's a tie. Let's just say for saying
then that goes to divisional, right?
Then it goes divisional.
Yeah.
And at that point, they're probably going to end up with the same record because they're each going to have one loss in the division. So if you go by conference, which is why this game is very important, the Eagles have one loss outside of the conference, right? If the Eagles, let's just say for saying sake, and that's why I think this game is so important, they lose this week and then they lose to Dallas. That's two. Now, Dallas has three. All three of Dallas's losses are within the conference. So it's so important for us to keep that gap in terms of conference losses so that you hold on. That's almost having another game up on Dallas, which is why it makes it so important to win this game this week, because you have a 3-game gap with 5 games left in the season that you are able to obviously you should be able to lock that down when you're talking about the 2 games against San Francisco, and I forget who else they have at the end of the schedule as well. So anyway, with that, I got the Birds winning this game 26-24. This is going to be another tight one, and they're going to end up pulling it out in the fourth quarter.
I might as well say this. My score is the same as Chrome's, 26-24 Eagles.
Fair?
Of all the scores
24-21.
to double up on, you guys double up on 26-24.
That's what I got.
No,
this was
just
completely
the
not
weirdest-
planned. We agreed. We were the
Wow.
two lone agreeers in the beginning of the show, and we both
That's
came
incredible.
up with the same score. This was not planned one bit whatsoever. I'm just saying.
Well, Frank, I don't need to send you my score now because you know my score is your score.
Sorry, Ryan, I cut you off. Go ahead.
No,
Yeah,
you're good.
exactly.
No, you're good. 24-21. Birds.
I guess it would be me. I'm going to go out on a little limb here.
Oh boy.
I think it'll be tight through three quarters. I think we pull away in the fourth. I think Brock Purdy tosses us a few gifts. I have the Eagles winning. It's gonna be a lower scoring game. I'm gonna say 24-13. Eagles pull away late.
Not as crazy as I thought you were going to go.
I think it's crazy to think that we're only going to hold them to 13 points.
This is going to be a tough game. It's going to be they're going to beat the shit out of each other on Sunday.
27-17 Eagles.
Wow, you got 10. Okay.
I love the way this week is playing out. To your ease of mind. I love the way this week is playing out in the media. I love the way it's all Niners, the Niners, even their Niner fans, right? Think they're going to come in and take over. I love the way this week is playing out because, again, we talked about it ad nauseum all day, right? All this team does is find ways to win. And then all week leading up, here's the Niners. I mean, we're a home dog.
Home dog.
We're a home dog at 10-1.
Here's
and
what
I get what Vegas looks at. I get all that, right? And that's why Vegas is all lit up all the time, right? I was just there. But it's
for 5 minutes.
For 5 minutes. But that's the amazing thing about this team. It doesn't matter, right? I mean, they're a home dog at being 10-1, and no one is giving them a chance.
This is what they're forgetting about too, right? With all the talking that Deebo's going out there and spewing, I'm waiting for the kicker to say something just like he did last year. I don't even know if it's the same kicker, but I know their kicker of last year was calling Jalen Hurts a system quarterback or a game manager or something, and that aged well, as it usually does with that team. They're forgetting that more likely than not, even if they win this week, which I don't think they will, but even if they do, they're probably going to have to do it again when it really matters. This isn't the NFC title game. This is week 13, right? They have to do this again. And it very well might happen again in Philadelphia, right? A lot of things need to happen for this to then have to happen again in San Francisco. It's no, if everything's going on track, we're probably going to face you guys again, and you're going to have to come here again. I don't know. That's tough. Brock Purdy or not. Deebo Samuel, Christian McCaffrey, Brendan Ayuk, George Kittle or not. This isn't the NFC title game. This isn't the Super Bowl. They want to act like it's their Super Bowl because they didn't get anywhere close to a Super Bowl last year. And I get it. Listen, your quarterback got hurt. You lost the game fair and square. There was nothing out of the way that we did. There was no cheating. There was no conspiracy. Your quarterback got hurt. You know why? Because the right side of your offensive line, which still is the case today, isn't good enough. That's why. That is why. It's not our problem. It's really not.
No, it's not. It's not an NFC title game. I think that's getting in the way of a regular season game. It's not the end all be all for either team. It's important for both teams that they'll want to win this game for obvious reasons, but season doesn't end on Sunday. So another reason why my concern level is so low. Because it's not time to panic. You didn't
It
lose
isn't-
to like Cincinnati without Barrow coming to town.
I do think that with what Tom said earlier, there is a 40% chance of rain at game time for this game as well.
We have them right where we want them then.
Yep.
The last 2 weeks. Monsoon, poor, good.
All right.
And another
Well,
4 o'clock game allows our crazies just to get even more ramped up.
Yep.
Hell yeah.
It's essentially a night game this time of the year, right? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, it'll be just about sundown at kickoff.
We cried because there was he drove him into the ground. That's why we cried. So that about Wentz getting injured versus Seattle. That was a cheap shot. So whatever. I mean, a little different.
no, he said didn't spend all summer crying.
Oh, I thought you said dead. Huh.
Oh, yeah.
Oh well. Sorry, Ted. But yeah, you're right. We didn't. You're back.
Oh, we were crying in 2020 for other reasons, and I don't want to revisit that. So we're all good here.
No.
My final kicker before we get to the slate of games. Kyle Shanahan coaches the other team. He's going to find a way to lose this game. Or just choke it away. So
who you have more confidence in a big game? Kyle Shanahan and Brock Purdy, or fucking Nick Sirianni and Jalen Hurts? Time's yours.
30-3?
I mean, I don't know what else. I don't know how else to be clear about it. Like, I mean, I'm not trying to be a homer. I mean, sometimes numbers lie. Sometimes they can be deceiving. Their numbers don't lie together. I mean, this is sustained success early on together is pretty impressive. And you lose 2 coordinators and you're back at 10-1.
Yep.
I mean, I gave my flowers to Jeffrey Lurie Sunday night, and I'll wait to give him more after this Sunday on what I think the job he's done. But offensive players of the game, I'll just give both off so guys we can just rattle it off. I'll go DeVonta again. Why not? Obviously, they're lacking at the other corner position a little bit. So I would assume Jimmy Ward's would be following AJ Brown around as much as he can. I would like to see AJ get in motion a little bit more and move him around the field a little bit, try to open him up. But I'll go DeVonta, and on defense, I'll go with the same guy. I'll go with Kevin Byard. So I'll stay status quo. So expect another tight game. I just went back to the well.
Who was the receiver you had, Tom? Sorry.
Oh, DeVonta.
All right, I'll go AJ.
He's due, right?
He's been asleep. He's been asleep the last couple weeks. Daniel Bakley makes a really good point too. They lost their safety.
Yeah.
They lost their safety. I'll go Jalen Carter.
Well, love that.
Yeah.
He's playing banged up too. All right, who wants to give their 2 next?
Yeah, Noah.
I'll go. Here's an outside the box one.
Wow.
Numerous.
No.
How about
you?
How about yeah, right? How about Cunningham, the linebacker?
He's injured.
Yeah, not playing. Probably not
Not
really
playing.
outside. That's
Really
really
a
outside.
miracle.
So far
It is out the
outside
box,
that he'll
but
be
are you
on the
doing
sideline.
Jesus.
All right. Well, I'll take that back. All right.
That's the other linebacker. There's another one.
Yeah. Do we have any linebackers anymore? Bill Berge now. Now let's go. Hassan Reddick. I think he has I think he has a. Yeah, I think he'll come up with a huge sack, maybe a strip sack, to put the nail in the coffin.
Yeah,
So
he's my trust that. After you name, I don't know how much I trust that pick after you name the guy who's not playing. But
yeah, I hear you. Oh, is Randall Cunningham still here? All right, so we'll go Hassan Reddick, and on the offensive side of the ball, I don't know why I'm doing this, but
Don't do it. Then don't do it.
neither do we. Give me Boston Scott. Fuck it, he's gonna find the end zone.
Don't do it.
Well, you second best running back.
Boston Scott finds the end zone.
Blue Meanie in the house.
Shout out to our boy Blue Meanie down here dropping in.
Hey.
He says, I'm so annoyed by the Niners and their trash talk. We win those games, and then what do they say? They need to be humbled. Oh, I couldn't agree more. I mean, it's like body bag too.
Yeah.
You know, Bounty Gate too. Like, I want Bounty Gate. Like, somebody hump for a Deebo, Nate, and I don't play like that. But you want to keep doing, you want to do a lot of that? Watch yourself. This ain't patty cake.
Who was your offensive player of the game, Noah?
Boston Scott. You're
I'm going way out on the limb there.
All right.
Scott finds the end zone.
Listen, for me, it's the quarterback. This is another game. He comes out. I feel like every game he's been the X factor, and I have no reason to believe that's not going to be the case here. Particularly if weather is a factor, we're going to need him to be able to obviously control the football, control the game, and be able to move the football. So to me, it's the quarterback on offense. Defensively, man, he's due for it. I'm between two guys here because I'm looking, I could see them, Tom. We're talking about when the defensive front puts pressure on Purdy and he goes, I could see them trying to make it long bombs to Brandon Ayuk, and maybe he's getting hit or something at some point. So, like, part of me wants to say Slay might have an opportunity here. But then the other part is maybe because of Slay and his coverage, maybe a guy like Byard's able to undercut the passing lane and make a big play. I'm between both. I'm going to go big play Slay here. He's due for one. We got the one from Bradbury last week. I feel like it's got to, this is an opportunity here, particularly if the defense does what they do up front and puts pressure on Purdy. He's going to make mistakes. And Slay, when he's on his game or when he has an opportunity, he's one of the best there is. So I'm going to go big play Slay here with a pick.
Yeah, and we all sit here and talk about their concerns with the secondary, right? But in crunch time, when they need to step up, they do. They've done it week after week, right? We gave up 200 yards to CeeDee Lamb, right? We gave up how many did we give up last week to Stephon Diggs, right? But it didn't matter because at the end of the day, when we needed to make a play, we did, right? So I'm liking that and those picks. I will go. Sorry, Frank, this is usually maybe in the last, but I will go Boston or not Boston. Jesus, I will go DeAndre Swift. I will go DeAndre, and on the defensive side, I will go the
Cunningham.
No, I'm not going to go Zach
Jacoby
Cunningham.
Dean.
I'll go Shaq Leonard. No. The Golden Pipes of Jordan Davis.
Okay.
Can't say enough great things about Jordan Davis.
16 miles an hour, almost 17 miles an hour chasing Josh Allen down the other day. That's insane.
I almost picked him, Greg, but I didn't know if he's still out of breath from last week.
Very well. or from running or the singing, because
both. Yes to both.
Who would have thought that voice was coming out of that monster of a man?
Right. Frank, what do you got?
On the defensive side of the ball, give me James Bradbury. I mean, you got the Deebo trash talk on Bradbury. That better light his fire big time. On the offensive side of the ball, let's see. Who will I pick? Give me DeAndre Swift as my offensive player of the game.
Yeah, I think we need to run the ball well, obviously, for numerous reasons, right? I know a guy like Bill's like bottom line, we got to score first. We haven't scored fucking first all year. So, I mean, it'd be nice that they take that opening drive and score, right? I mean, of course, but I don't know. I'd love to score 14 points every quarter, but it ain't realistic. So, but I do like the Bradbury pick because I do think there's a good chance he gets one.
I feel like it's got to be him or Slay. One of them's got to, because there's no doubt in my mind that we're going to see a turnover this week.
You know who's been really important, and unfortunately, we've only seen him a couple games because of the injuries, and also was a late signing.
Roby.
Bradley Roby's really freaking important.
Yeah.
Really freaking important. I almost went him, but it's tough, right? Because I know they sub him out. They're still doing the Eli Ricks thing. Like every time, and I think Eli Ricks is going to end up being a good player, right? So this is no disrespect to him. It's an undrafted free agent rookie, right? So it is what it is. But it seems like every time something bad happens, Eli Ricks is on the field, and I'm like, why is Bradley Roby not? Why did something happen to Bradley Roby? Why is he here? I don't know why we're still doing the rotational thing, but hopefully that stops.
I feel like he was really important too to solidify that slot corner because when Avonte Maddox went down, it was ugly across the middle of the field. It was a field day. And I know they tried to rotate guys out of position. But they tried to rotate guys who were out of position and it wasn't for a lack of effort, but you needed to have a guy who has the experience at that position. He was a huge pickup for this team.
Well, the guy that was the immediate replacement for Maddox, we just cut. So if that tells you anything, the guy who was like, "Oh, this is the replacement,"
what tells me something is Darius Slay stealing money. So whenever he wants to wake the hell up, that'd be nice. You know what I mean? You're stealing money. I mean, James Bradbury made more big plays than you over the last 6 weeks. So
almost had 2 picks against Buffalo.
So I could use a Darius sighting.
Yeah, he does look very slow this year. He
looks old. Happens, right?
He does.
It happens. I mean, that's what we're going
to. It's like he's, for Darius's sake, maybe his knees. We need an indoor game. Right? No more rain games. No more rain, cold. We're somewhere in a dome somewhere. Luckily, next week it's going to be in a dome.
Right.
Whatever the hell that stadium is out in Dallas.
All right, you guys want to get into our locks here?
Mm-hmm. Do you want me to pull it up, Tom?
If you have it, go ahead. You can pull it up.
All right, we'll fly through it. You got something, Frank?
Go ahead, Frank. You run it.
You got it, Frank?
No, I actually have the lines up as well.
Okay.
Good.
All righty. We will start with Thursday Night Football. Sure, I'll do it. All right, so we are starting off with the Seattle Seahawks heading to Jerry World. The Cowboys, 9-point favorites, over under at 47.5.
9-point favorites?
Dallas
is 9?
I take Dallas to win, but I think Seattle covers.
Lock me in. Give me Seattle. Lock it.
Seattle.
No one's picking Seattle. Please continue.
Yes.
I take Dallas wins.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, on the 1 o'clock slate of games, the Los Angeles Chargers, with Brandon Staley's job completely on the line, head to New England. Chargers, 5.5-point favorites, over under set at 40.5.
Look at Job been on the line for since he got there.
What a shit show.
Barring any miracle, that's what I read. And it's also Zappy hour, hopefully.
It's crazy with them because they're almost a guarantee every week to put up a bunch of points but lose the game in the fourth quarter, right? But I feel like, it's so bad in New England at this point. So I'm going to lock in the Chargers. Might be the first time all year I say that.
Chargers.
Definitely not doing that, but I'll take the Chargers.
I'm not. I can't lock it. Chargers. Just because, to your point, Chrome, the Chargers score a lot of points. Zappy hour. I don't know what the hell that is, but they can't score points. New England can't score points. They simply cannot.
And nor should they want to.
But that's the thing.
They're 2-9 right now. Just lose out.
Yeah, and I mean that's the thing though. The Chargers can score points. It's the fact that their defense can't keep anybody else out of the end zone in the second half.
Although Bill will probably try and screw him on his way out, like just win enough games that they don't get a top 5 and then bounce.
This might be a preview for Bill. Bill might be the next. I mean, who the hell knows what is going to happen with Belichick? But Bill might be the next head coach of the Chargers. Who the hell knows?
It's been rumored already. Yeah,
this might determine if Bill wants the job.
He's already rumored to beat Carolina and Chargers.
Oh God, Bill, don't go to friggin' Panthers. Don't do that.
I mean, listen.
And he's what, 70 years old now? I think it's time for him to retire.
He won't. He wants Shula's record.
Yeah, he's not gonna do it.
I don't think he's leaving there.
You don't think he's leaving New England?
Not if they somehow can manage to get the one, which is obviously very hard here on who has it, which is the Bears via Carolina right now. If they get the one and Caleb Williams declares himself, he ain't fucking going nowhere. Yeah, it's mine. And I have reservation on Caleb Williams a little bit, but what are you, a moron? You're gonna go with Bryce Young?
Can I?
In case you were wondering, I think the Patriots get blown out.
Can I just say this is such a Bears thing, by the way? You have 4 interceptions in a game. You managed to score no touchdowns in a game. And you still come out and win that game by a last-second field goal. Awful game the other night against Minnesota, and they almost screwed themselves by winning that game.
Yeah, but your boy stinks.
Oh, he's not. It's not good.
Their defense is really good, by the way. Their defense is really good. They're like a quarterback away from being very, very good.
Really smart by going and getting Chase Young, by the way. I mean, and locking him in. Now they have a quarter piece for their defensive front.
Future quarterback of the Falcons. He's perfect for them. Perfect.
He would probably really fit well with them. That might be his best chance to revive himself.
Indoor, their whole thing is speed. And
him and Bijan, there's a very dynamic back running game there.
Depends on the coach realizes that specific week that they have Bijan. Depends on if he forgets.
I don't know if he's another one who might be sitting on a hot seat.
Hot seat score. What's the next game?
All right, next game, the Detroit Lions head to New Orleans. Detroit is a 4-point favorite, over under set at 47.
Detroit
lock them in. Lions, lock them in.
Yeah, same.
Lions. New Orleans can't score.
Lions.
Give me the Saints.
Derek Carr, baby.
I don't know. Give me a Saints. The NFL's weird.
All right, next game. The Arizona Cardinals head over to Pittsburgh, take on the Steelers. Steelers 5.5-point favorites, over under at 41.5.
Steelers,
and lock me on the under.
Steelers.
I can't believe the Steelers are 7-4 or 7.
Hey, they are the worst 7-4 team ever.
I will also take the Steelers as well.
Does anybody think that JG is going to be done after 1 year in Arizona?
No, I actually think he's done fine.
Please,
I hate him. But
I want it to happen.
All right.
Next year's his year. Next one. I mean, I don't mean it's his year like he's going to be successful.
All right, on to the next one.
I don't got nothing, Frank. Go ahead. Me and fucking Swedish fish.
And on to the next one. The Atlanta Falcons head over to the Meadowlands, take on the Jets. Falcons 3-point favorites, over under at 34.
Yeah, I'll never take a team that really doesn't have a quarterback Atlanta doesn't have one, but the Jets really don't have one. So lock me in on Atlanta.
Lock me Jets.
Lock
You're
me
an idiot.
Atlanta.
I am.
Yeah. Lock me Atlanta,
Documented.
please.
Atlanta defense good.
They're
Pretty
sneaky.
good. They are. They got arguably the best safety in football. I mean,
Yeah.
all Jesse Bates does is make plays. The fact that Cincinnati let that walk out the door, they're fucking morons. That dude's all over the field. Every time the red zone's on, that dude's making a play.
Mhm.
I'm like, it's the only guy I see on their defense. I feel like it's just like 1 versus 11. They're Jesse. Punch fumble again. All right, go ahead. Sorry.
Give me the Falcons.
Oh, you're still playing?
Score that game.
Yeah,
like
why not?
3.
Yeah, what's
The
the
Jets
over under,
have
Frank?
The
34.
Jets have one touchdown in the last 4
34.
weeks?
Yeah,
Jets
one
offense
touchdown,
is
one
good.
offensive touchdown. Thankfully, it went to Garrett Wilson.
Yeah, I'll take the Jets on this one.
Smart man.
All right, next game we got the Indianapolis Colts head over to Tennessee. Colts favored by 1. Over under at 42.5.
He's another slop game, man. There's some slop games this week.
Oh.
Tennessee for no reason.
Colts.
Yeah, not lots of sloppiness.
Colts,
Colts.
same thing. Lock me under.
Colts as well.
Give me the. I'll go with the Titans on this one.
Mayo in your coffee.
Don't bring that up, please. I'm not going to gag on the air thinking about it. Next game, we got the Miami Dolphins taking on the Washington Commanders. Dolphins 9.5-point favorites. Over under set at 49.5.
Dolphins.
Dolphins.
Yeah, give me the Commanders.
Dolphins.
The Commanders in an upset.
Outright?
Dolphins. Huh?
They're winning
Yeah,
outright?
outright.
Jesus.
Outright.
Yeah, Cunningham's playing for him.
Yeah. Randall's coming out with retirement.
Jesus.
I don't know. Miami's good for losing a game that they should win once in a while. They'll cough one up this week.
All right. Everybody go?
Yep. Next game, we got the Denver Broncos going to Houston to take on the Texans. Texans 3.5-point favorites. Over under set at 47.5.
I'm like oddly looking forward to this game. I don't know. It's just like
Yeah,
two
because it's a
teams.
shit slot. It's a shit fucking,
Yeah. It's
1 o'clock windows. The 1 o'clock windows, garbage. We just heard it. I agree with you, Rye. Give me Denver. Give me the 3.5. Lock it in. That hook's big for me in this game.
Big. Oh, yeah. That's big.
Give me that hook.
Same here.
Game I'm
Lock it
picking
in
the
for
Denver
me.
Broncos. Could
Yeah,
not
Denver.
believe you would ask me in 2023 if I'd ever pick the Broncos.
The team that gave up 70 points earlier this year. They are a whole different team over the last 5 weeks.
Chrome,
they
it looks
clean
like
their
it's the
lives
best thing that's ever happened to them, right?
Yeah.
Seriously, you get embarrassed like that. Not you're
Yeah.
forced to do some things. All
Forced
right,
to
what
take
else
a
we
look in
got?
the mirror and reevaluate.
Broncos.
That's right.
Noah.
Give me Denver. They're playing well right now.
All
Russell's having a hell of a year at this point now, too.
right. Well, he's playing better.
And for me, be careful. It's spicy. Give me the Broncos. Next game, we got the Carolina Panthers taking on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Bucks 5.5-point favorites. Over under set at 37.
Baker playing. Can't believe that's even a prerequisite for this pick.
Yeah, give me the Buccaneers. Lock it in. I don't care.
Yeah, I'll take
Yeah,
the Bucs
Tampa.
on this one too.
Yeah, give me Tampa.
I'm going to live very boring this week. Tampa Bay,
Tampa.
lock me the unders. I think I have locked 3 unders, but that's how bad this slate is.
It's an ugly week.
Usually I usually side with the team like, oh, it's a firing. The team comes fired up. The Panthers, they're barely a football team. So
We got rid of too many coaches.
Yeah,
yeah. It's only the players are playing.
I was going to say the player coaches. So I don't care if it's Kyle Trask. They might
Adam
win
Thielen out there coaching.
Might
player coach.
Might be the oldest guy left in the friggin' building.
Oh, okay. Next game, we got the Browns heading to Los Angeles. Los Angeles Rams, by the way, favored by 3.5, over under set at 40.
The Joe Flacco led Browns.
Yeah, give me that hook again. Lock me in on the Browns. Give me that 3.5.
I like the Browns too.
I fucking love the Browns, and good for Browns fans too. They have like a team like that. It's like, you know, they're freaking scrappy. They've been like this for a couple of years, but they're really starting to show, you know, how good that defense is. Like how many picks they really hit on that defense is absurd.
Mm-hmm. Oh, the defense
really
lights
is.
out. Yeah.
It is.
But give me the Rams.
Flacco starting?
He, as of right now, because DTR is in concussion protocol still.
Wow, he's starting this week. Dude, because he told me this past summer when I was talking to him about like teams and all that, and he's like, dude, I still feel like I'm better than half the quarterbacks in the league.
Yeah.
You know, and I said, I have to agree with you.
Yeah.
I mean, there is some, you look around, babe. There's some
terrible
quarterback play. Like Joe
and then
Flacco at 30.
And then you look at depth charts too. Like,
tell me that dude, you don't want that dude holding a clipboard for you?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, God forbid, like at least that Super Bowl winner. You know what I mean? Got Super Bowl MVP. Like I would hold a clipboard, hold a couple. Here's a couple clipboards.
Yeah.
Like I feel like he thought he could, you know, continue to get like 1-year deals places.
Yeah.
Like I feel like that dude could throw till he's 42. You know what I mean? Because he's got a cannon. But
That's
he's just,
why
he's slow now.
It really showed. And granted, he's actually on one of the teams that we're talking about for this slate. But it just shows how glaring the issues were with Wentz.
Shit.
Exactly, Noah. That's
Don't
what Wentz
fucking
was
break my
saying when he
computer,
saw all
bro.
these other guys on rosters and he's still on the street.
Motherfucker.
Not dead. It's not dead. You're right here. You're right here. You're right in front of her face. Now I might have went dead. Now you're frozen.
I thought he spilled coffee on himself or something.
I thought he dropped my computer. I was about to drive an hour. We're picking this back up.
Watch your profanity.
All right, where the fuck were we? We can get the hell out of
I
here.
was saying that Wentz was bad.
Are we back there? Are we going there? It's late in the night. We're circling back the wagons.
I gotta go back to work. Let's go.
Shut up, Greg.
No, I do.
You got the easiest job in America. Would you knock it off?
Oh, yeah.
Would you knock it off? You know, freaking, you're taking joyrides on flights. Don't start with me tonight.
Yeah.
All right. Maybe you should have worked earlier instead of watching goddamn NCIS. Maybe you should have got some things done. I know
I've been
you're
working all day.
I love it. It's like breaking your balls. I see
Hopping
it now.
on another flight tomorrow.
Say, shut your mouth. Where are you going now?
I gotta go to Pennsylvania. I'll be up north. I got a funeral.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's
all good.
Oh.
Thank you.
Well, that's why you're working late in the night. Makes sense now.
I'm off now.
Yeah. So stop complaining.
I am complaining.
Complain about the funeral, but don't complain about the overwork when you're getting
complaining
about the work. Well, that's how it works. That's how work works. I gotta miss a day. I gotta, you know what I mean? You gotta fill in the gaps the day before.
Right.
Yeah.
Like work 101. I feel like that's on like all criteria that jobs give you.
Greg, which airline are you going to tweet at tomorrow? Just let me know. Just let me know.
I'll be American. Hopefully, there's no issues.
Yeah,
hopefully
well, you want to fly 1,000 times a year? What do you think you're going? You think it's going to be? You think you're a professional athlete?
Yeah, I mean, when you pay first class and sit Delta, you don't need to kick people off of first class flights. That's
You
just
got kicked off.
unnecessary.
You got kicked
No,
off.
not me. Not me.
Delta's expensive as shit too.
Delta's expensive as shit. So when
Were you
pay
flying first class on Delta?
I did.
Look at you.
Because I wanted a nice, easy flight home. It was anything but nice and easy. Diverted to Dallas to kick 2 people off because they were fighting.
That's why I don't fly.
Yeah.
There's too many animals out there.
Lady locked herself in the bathroom for like an hour and a half.
Jesus,
Before we
Right,
landed and got her
give
kicked
me the
off.
next
Anyway, can we finish this?
Tom's never going on a plane again.
Nah, I got no need to. I'll fucking drive cross country. I don't give a shit. I'm done with it. Too many assholes.
That's why you got to raise prices.
Unless I'm flying it, I ain't on it.
Make air travel expensive again.
Shut up, Greg. You're an animal. Everything's goddamn expensive. You want to jack up more? You want to jack up more prices
to avoid issues on flights? Yes.
Jesus Christ, like $7 for a little freaking thing of peanut butter, and now you want to jack up flights too?
Yes.
You're a problem, Greg. You ain't running for office. Was freaking jacking everything up.
Abolish Spirit, abolish Frontier.
Greg could easily run Spirit Airlines while we're at it.
I'm killing it.
Want to breathe inside the cabin? It's $5.
Dude, you want a 12-hour flight? What the
Recline
fuck
seat?
you think
Here's
you're getting?
$25.
Yeah, 12-hour flight. What do you think
Buckle
you're
the
getting?
seatbelt.
Dude,
$25.
you got a bus on. You got a bus with wings. What the hell you think you're getting?
That's why you got to raise ticket prices.
I flew to Vegas on Spirit, dude. I feel like I went through 7 tornadoes, a freaking hurricane. I was bouncing all around. I'm like, this isn't even an airplane. This shouldn't even be allowed to fly this far. We're like 2-hour flights max. We're done. We're worn out. That's Frontier. I mean, that shit was bouncing. I haven't flown since.
I won't fly Frontier. Spirit's as low as I go, and the only reason I do that is because they go into Nashville nonstop.
So does Southwest.
You're a Music Row happy hour guy.
Yeah.
You ever been there?
No.
I'd love to go there. You want to go there?
Let's go.
All right, cool.
Where, Nashville?
I'll be there in February.
Yeah, I want to go to.
I'm doing that for my 40th.
When's your 40th? I'm sure that's going to last 2 months.
Next March.
March
2025.
We're celebrating now. We're starting now. The posts are coming now.
Let's go. Hey,
Countdown.
I'm still celebrating last year.
I know you are.
That'll probably end right around March 20th. So March 21st can start the next one.
Just to give you a little background on Chrome, most women have a birthday month. Chrome has a birthday year. So just to
38 years running, baby. Let's go.
Where the fuck are we, Frank? Like, reel us back in here.
Somewhere in the sky.
Yeah, Chiefs go to Lambeau. Chiefs favored by 6, over under 42.5.
Ooh. I like the way the Pack's playing a little bit.
Pack. Go,
Me
Pack,
too.
go.
Go, Pack, go. Can't believe I'm doing this.
Packers.
Just the cover, not the win.
I'll take the Chiefs.
Yeah, Chiefs should just, I don't know. Chiefs can't give a decent team 6 points to me.
Birthday wishes are coming in.
Thank you, brother.
Already.
And you're saying thank you.
Allegedly,
can't.
Spirit Airlines
Yes.
used to be Value Jet, but changed their name after one of their flights crashed in a Florida swamp and Gators
Yes.
ate people.
Yes,
That's
Value
yeah,
Jet.
yeah. Yep, that's why I'm out. You know what
That's
I
a
mean?
great meeting.
That is a true
We're really gonna
story.
get-
Yes, there was a fire in the cabin. The plane crashed, and alligators were disrupted the search parties.
So you're going to do it. We're really going to get you on a plane now.
Well, speaking of Florida swamps, the Bengals fly over to Jacksonville, and the Jags are favored by 8.5 with the over/under set at 38.
Jags.
No, nowhere near swamps.
Yeah, definitely Jags.
But to take the
But
Jags.
it's Florida. I was trying to tie it in.
It's
Damn
Florida.
it.
I hear you. I hear
Yeah,
you.
look at him, Mr. Freaking. Look at you. Look at you down there. Yeah, you're speaking for Florida. I mean, you're like a 90-year-old woman. Yeah, now you're such a Floridian. Look at you. Look at you. I think you know a guy.
It was 40-degree at tea time on Tuesday. We didn't golf. A little cold.
Ah, boo-hoo. All right, we had a wind chill of 14 today. All right. My dick never got unshriveled. Keith, it's too late for this shit. He said your trip to Vegas was me sitting on the couch watching the Eagles this season. We get there, but goddamn, it's bumpy. Yeah, it is. Yeah, Greg's a year bird. He's not even a snowbird. He's full time now.
I was very jealous of the first snowfall this week for you guys. I was very.
Thank you, Matt. Appreciate you.
Very
We didn't
upset.
get no goddamn
I was
snow.
gonna say we didn't get snow.
There wasn't snow up there. I thought I
No.
saw pictures from people.
What?
It snowed yesterday morning.
What?
Okay, so
Where?
there you go.
You didn't see my video I posted where I was getting pelted with snow in Philly?
No, I didn't see it.
Yeah, it was like heavy snowing yesterday morning.
Huh. Okay.
I gotta turn your alerts on.
Or off.
You should. Always on. What are you going to do without my selfies? My birthday selfies. Every day it's a new birthday selfie.
Let's not start this. Matt,
38 and looking great.
Oh my God, never
Oh
doing
God,
this.
it's a hashtag. It's a hashtag.
Frank, do we have any? Yeah, I can't. But Frank, do we have any more games? Tell me no.
No, that was the last of the slate.
Ah, good.
All right,
Greg, you doing a TD parlay or
Yeah,
what? I
here it
got
is.
one.
Here we go.
Tyreek, David Montgomery, Kyler Murray, and Zach Moss.
Okay.
Actually,
I also had
I like that actually.
I also had David Montgomery.
Some of those aren't released yet, so I don't know what it pays.
Yeah. I also have David Montgomery, Cortland Sutton, and Mike Evans.
Yeah, I haven't missed one, Chrome. So just like the one solos we send in.
Mm-hmm.
I've had like 4 straight weeks on it. It's easy.
Well, we got guys out here picking George Pickens. I mean, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Oh, I got a hunch. Back Canada's not a what? The team
No.
can't score. Who's the quarterback?
Thank God I slept through that one. I missed that week.
Mine hit.
Crow, you went direct quote. I've got a hunch. That's literally what he said too. That's literally what he said.
Who was it?
Chucks.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
I was like Chucks. I was like,
Of all the
Why-
guys that score
why-
touchdowns every week, we're going George Pickens.
He's killing.
yeah,
this
like
par-
Warren
he's
is the
killing.
only one even worth a consideration on that team.
He's killing the parlay. Like just pick a guy. Your boy's going to score a touchdown.
Well, I literally said to Chucks, I said, I think going forward we need to do research and not go on whims.
Yeah, you know what a
That
hunch
is
was?
that is not a research pick.
You know what a hunch was? DeVonta was going to score 2 weeks in a row. That's a hunch. That's a hunch. That's a hill to die on. What are we doing, George Pickens? I almost wanted to get myself out of it. I almost wanted to remove myself. You know,
Mike Evans, 8 out of 11 games with touchdowns, and I think Cortland Sutton's got like 5 or 6 out of his last 8 games where he scored touchdowns. That's how you pick your parlays.
How many touchdowns does Pickens even have this year? 2?
1 maybe.
Yeah.
I don't even know. All right.
I think he scored in the Thursday night game against Tennessee, or maybe that was Deontay Johnson.
Deontay Johnson has had a lot more touchdowns than he has. Pickens has 3 this year.
Wow.
But he hasn't scored one in 5 weeks.
I don't think he's caught a pass in 2 weeks.
We call him this week.
This is the one we got the hunch this week.
Not a touchdown, but he caught a pass this week. I know that because I saw it.
Maybe that's who I'm riding with in the parlay this week, boys. George Pickens. I got a hunch.
You hunch yourself. I'm going to hunch myself to bed. Great show, boys. A2D Wednesday nights. You can go back.
Thank you for all the happy birthdays, by the way, fam. Appreciate
Shut
you.
up.
It's going to be a great birthday weekend.
Freaking in March. This is unbelievable. Yeah, that being said, let's go Birds. Can't wait to talk to everybody Sunday night after the game. After we find the way again. If we find the way again Sunday, it's going to be a good talk after. And if for some reason we lose the game, I can't wait for the chat. But it's been A2D Wednesday nights. Greg, Cromer, Frank, Rye, I'm Tom. We love you all. We appreciate the million comments tonight. We love you. We thank you. And we were brought to you by Royal Billiards. Go check them out. Premier Game Room Store at Delaware Valley. They got everything. Shuffleboards, bars, bar stools, card tables. What don't they have for you? Hot tubs. Located 515 Bethlehem Pike in Colmar, PA. Or visit them on the web, royalbilliard.com. sportsbook.com. Great show, boys. Great audible tonight. We were going to open with Sixers, and it looked good at the time. Felt right. And then all of a sudden, Joel was an illness, and we had to throw an audible in the night, which I'm glad we did. So
Much
we
better
open
show.
with birds, as we should this week, essentially, the more you think about it, because it's a big one, but not our biggest test.